All right, let's go ahead and hop into this. I think that I know that there's a bit of work happening on my team right now, so I don't know how many people will be able to join today. Um, and let's go ahead and just get right into this. Could I get a note taker for today? I don't know that that
Yeah,
might be
I'll
too
cover
much.
it. No worries.
Awesome, thank you so much. Um, I don't see any new faces. Been a hot minute since I've seen you, Ozzy. Glad to see you back.
Yeah,
S-
no worries. I was out ill for a few weeks, but I've
oh,
been trying to reattend stuff, but stuff gets in the way occasionally.
sorry, that's not meant to call you out. Just happy to see people. I mean, everyone's busy. It's another busy season, I think.
Hmm.
Um, all right, let's go ahead and get right into it with outstanding RFCs. We currently actually don't have any outstanding RFCs. I do want to call out that the dependencies mirror RFC was merged. If you didn't get a chance to look at then by all means, it's I think a pretty interesting and pretty powerful tool to allow people to remap dependencies if they have things like giant dedicated standing mirrors. Um, so that's I just wanted to call that out as something that has merged. And I believe that RFCs for both Packet and Libpack are open to adopt this behavior. So hopefully it will be available soon. Uh, I have talked every week about wanting to do this decoupled dependencies build pack, and then I have been out sick and then out helping somebody with surgery and then been out for this eclipse. So I have just not had any time to work on this. And then I need to put together a talk for CF Day coming up. So I will hopefully get to this soon. I think that we're kind of in agreement, at least at this point, that like standardizing the metadata was, I think, a big win for us, because it kind of means that all we have to focus on is basically like, are you cool if we just like kind of release a tarball that has a metadata.toml in it, and that metadata.toml conforms to the dependency structure. And I think if people are cool with that, then we can talk a little bit more about like the overall interface. Like, do you want it to, like how people want to be able to attach like their own particular tarballs at any given point. Um,
Yeah, I haven't read too much into that one because obviously the UBI extensions, they're just referencing the dependencies there are installed via RPM, which
yeah,
come from those repositories, but they still are dependencies. So the question is if it would be modelable as an external dependency in a way where it wouldn't be a tarball. I'll have to have a read through and see if there's anything that we could take advantage of that would fit within that world. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think that in some ways yours would be like interestingly like almost more flexible because like at the end of the day, like users are still going to have to generate like either the way that I see this is like sort of uh as a like a either a control mechanism, i.e., like we actually want to attach this series of dependencies, which is just like a hard strapped version line or one particular vetted dependency and only use that, right?
Hmm.
Or as like way to introduce your own um like uh like offline dependency, right? Like if you have
Yeah.
something to vendor or something like that, basically.
And it's the
Um,
latter one I think that will kick in with UBI because I can see that there will come a point. At the moment, we're just pulling from the default repository that's configured within the image. But if somebody truly wanted to run disconnected, then I imagine that we've got some config to do to set up and point the image at the user's alternative local repository for RPMs and stuff. I've not
yeah,
even looked into that yet. Costas,
yeah.
any ideas?
I think we can support offline at the moment, right? Because we download when we build, we download the node and all the stuff that is needed, right? I
Sure, but
mean,
the problem is we're downloading that from UBI's repositories during the build. So if the build system is in a isolated, disconnected environment, we'd need to be able to point our UBI minimal image at the local copy of the UBI RPM repository so that it could get its own stuff from there. I haven't looked into this yet, but it's on my list of things that I
okay,
want it to be able to do eventually. The
Yeah.
alternative is that we
No,
attach
no.
the RPMs like you attach tarballs, but that becomes very big and very, very fast because, one RPM will require all of the other dependency RPMs that go with it. And by the time we're done with that, we will be chasing our tail trying to manage a duplicate dependency hierarchy as downloadable RPM. And at that point, you might as well just have a repository because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Red Hat model is to always have the latest that is up there, right?
Sure, but the question is what happens in a totally disconnected environment,
Yeah.
air-gapped environment where somebody's trying to use UBI.
I,
They must be able to still find a way to make this work. So
I have no idea. I haven't, I don't even know this kind of functionality that exists or how to configure it, to be
yeah, I
honest.
mean it's most likely it's just a config that we'll need to tweak to tell
Okay,
microdNF to look somewhere else for the repository.
I see. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I guess we can chat all together about that, whenever.
hmm There's no rush. I was just interested because, of course, the decoupling of dependencies from Buildpacks, that's the same kind of goal, but on some ways we fit within that because we definitely have dependencies, but on other ways we definitely don't because all of the other dependencies are tarballs. We look nothing like a tarball. We don't smell like a tarball. So it might be one of those ones that if we tried to do it, it would look worse than if we did left it alone and managed it ourselves.
In some way you are already in part of the ideal state for this because you're pointing at like a reference. It means that you can update things seamlessly underneath it, which is like what we want. Like you don't ever have to bump the version of like the UBI node whatever because the image just changes or the reference just changes, which is I think something that we're trying to get. But what we also need to solve for is like air gapping, which is something that we already have like solved for in the normal build pack case, but isn't and like we have to continue to build around, but like it's
Yeah.
gonna have to be and like air gapping with an image is really weird too because like you said it's like what you actually are kind of doing is not air gapping as so to speak like you're not actually downloading a single image and then having it local and then doing that. What you would probably want to do is have a reference to and be able to have a reference to an internal repository mirror, in which case
Yep.
what may actually be more fruitful for you to look into is that dependency mirrors RFC that just went in, because
hmm
then what you might be able to do is say like anything that's going out to, registry.redhat.whatever, right? Actually reroute that same thing to this registry over here, which is, internal dot super secret customer dot whatever, right? Like,
Well, internal dot company named or whatever. I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
It's
No,
there's plenty of people who do it.
no, of course.
And they maintain their own repositories that aren't so much they're full of vetted RPMs or whatever that they've checked and made
Yeah, yeah.
sure that they've either built them from source themselves if they're really paranoid or
Yeah, so,
check the
sorry,
CRCs if they
I don't mean to be like, but like, just like,
Mhm.
client that's or client or user that's not sitting in this
Wow.
meeting right now, I guess is what I more mean. Yeah, like company name or project name, or I actually
No,
can't think of any project that wouldn't just pull from Red Hat. But anyway, yeah,
yeah, it just comes down to larger customers who have made the
yeah,
choice not to expose their build systems to the internet. At which point, yeah, they're quite happy to pull RPMs, but where they pull them from has to be on their network, not on the wider internet.
yeah, totally. And I think that's fine. So if you could get that level of mapping,
I'll
but
have a
I
read.
what?
The mirrors one, you're right. It's closer. I'm
Hmm.
not sure it'll work on a fine grain point of view because I'm pretty sure that we can't say for a given RPM that it should come from a particular repository. The idea is you've got your repository list and they're in search order, and the first one it finds it from is the one it's going to go and get it from, off the top of my head. I will go and look into this. I haven't spent any time looking at it yet. It's just one of these ones that I know is coming up when we want to start looking at air gap stuff.
Yeah, and so it would be whatever you'd have to set up your like app list, proxy list, sort of whatever deal. Yeah, okay.
hmm Yeah. Probably a file in it, etc somewhere to edit. We can tweak that using the extension and everything will be good.
Yeah, well, I hope for your sake. Uh, and then next up we have the proposal to publish multi-arch build packs. I think this is something that Jericho is like working on getting back squared away to be a more accurate view of the world and a discussion of how the actual artifacts look. I think because we called out last week, we have a release of the Jamie build pack list Tiny, I believe is the one that's out, builder that it has multi-arch support. We did this sort of in an effort to actually enable people to begin to develop things for build packs because it's a chicken egg, another chicken, another egg, another chicken, another egg problem where you need to have the stack, but to actually effectively use the stack, then you need to have the builder, but to actually effectively you need the builder, you kind of need a build pack. And so we find, we could get proc file, we could get tiny, and then we could get the tiny stack kind of all multi-arched so that we can start slapping stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. Hopefully that will allow us to sort of supercharge the development. And I think we're already seeing some positives and seeing some negatives and working those out. So hopefully we will be able to get through that soon. Speaking of Jericho, he has appeared, and we'll see if he has any comments on this or if he's having trouble connecting. Oh,
No, I'm here. And comments on the my RFC for multi.
yeah, it just I gave a rundown of basically the Jamie build pack list builder. Tiny has multi-arch, I believe. So does Procfile and I think Watch Exec. Like a bunch of the utility build packs, I believe, we're able to switch over because they're all splat stack anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then the stack itself. So that's kind of our first foray. I assume that we've run into some problems, but also run into some and are working through solutions on that, but also been able to test some other stuff out. Anything on that other than what I just said?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I have like kind of general updates from CNB, but I could do those after you cover the RFCs. Or I mean, I can do it right now if it's relevant.
We can get we can do that in the CNB updates section. And if you have that and no one else has any, I guess I should say, does anyone else have any questions on RFCs? Perfect. In that case, then let's go ahead and hop into CNB updates.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, I've been working with Juan and Sai, who's a mentee, on the build kit, pack build kit mentorship project. So they are actively working on finalizing the kind of proof of concept binary that you guys are using right now to build multi-arch builders and build packs for build packless builders, etc. So he's targeting hopefully to have that done by the end of the month. So I mean, like, as soon as it's available, it's going to be announced. But we're actively working to make that happen.
Sorry, you mean for packaging a build pack with multi-arc, right, on the pack with the pack CLI?
Yes.
So this will be like it will be by default according to the architecture of the computer, or you will have to pass a flag on the pack CLI to export it, or both.
That's a good question. So I actually haven't used the proof of concept pack CLI to build multi-arch build packs yet, but I imagine you're passing a flag to do it somehow.
Okay, makes sense.
Does that sound right?
It's I think it's a combination of a flag and a structure thing. So you put
Yeah.
cross-compiled, or not cross-compiled, but like architecture specific compiled, maybe that is cross-compiled, I don't know. Binaries into like an ARM and an AMD
Yeah.
folders, like you put the binaries in each one, and then I don't know if you then pass a flag at the end of that and then it works, but like I don't I guess maybe to answer your larger question, like what would happen if you were working on an ARM machine and only created binaries? I assume it would just produce an ARM image in the same way, and it would only produce a multi-architecture image if it had the correct internal structure. Because the like pack create package doesn't do any compilation for you as it stands right now. That all has to happen as part of the like an external Buildpack build process.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it sounded like part of the question was like, is the architecture going to get set properly? Was that part of it?
Yeah.
Like if you're not building a multi-arch image, or only when you're building a multi-arch image?
Uh, like when you want to build one image, when you build a multi-arc image for your uh, for your PC, for example, when you package it for test, when you want to test for your PC.
Yep.
But
Okay.
yes, yeah,
So
just you are working on it. So
yeah.
um,
So
yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, like until the end of the month, this will be resolved. So I think it's not very late.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So Juan, like he saw some feedback from like the Paketo community about. I think Dan Makusa was asking, I want to be able to like build on Mac, but for Linux or whatever different architecture, for ARM or AMD. I don't think that's probably going to make it in the first release. But once we get something released, we will be able to kind of like say, I want to build on this architecture. I know I'm providing like binaries that are suitable for this architecture, etc. There's kind of a bunch of moving pieces there. So I think initially you're going to have like the current way pack works where the architecture is empty if you're not building multi-arch, and then you'll have this kind of multi-arch version of it. But yeah, I think we need to get something released because there's too many things in progress. So getting something released will make it helpful for us to then fix the things and improve on them and make the experience better. So I think that's what Juan's going for.
I was just looking into this. This is watch exec. I don't actually have the pack command here. We'll probably have to hunt that down somewhere, but this is the like actual build script that is being run right now. So you have like both the gooses set to Linux, and then you can set the Go Arch here for ARM64, and then yeah, it's running basically just like two Go builds where it outputs a single binary, and then this is I don't know, Buildpacks flavor magic. Basically, this it helps save us on file size where we actually link to build and run. We create like executable symlinks to those to only have a single binary to run. And then we just do that in each particular ARM slash AMD 64 folder. Um, I can see if I can hunt down the pack command for you. It'd probably
yeah,
be somewhere
it's
like
okay.
in.
Just we have this issue with what was exec when the integration tests, and I just wanted some context to know because we start changing a little bit the integration test. So I just wanted a little bit of context. I think I'm good. So, but yeah, if you have any updates on that one, of course, let me know.
Yeah. I mean, the mentorship project that we're also working on. I mean, like we have a proof of concept where you can run a pack when you can use the life cycle in with BuildKit and using a Docker file. So like it's a scripted mess, but like it works. So we're working on having Pack do that and orchestrate all that stuff for you so that you can basically do a multi-arch build. But there's a lot of moving pieces on that one. So that one it's going to be a little while before we get it done.
Okay,
But
thanks.
eventually, hopefully we can simplify this and, you shouldn't have to change too many things in your in your pipelines or in your CI/CD.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so those are the updates for CNB.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any other CMB updates that people have? Nope. Are there any project updates that people have? Don't think I have anything big. I also have been out for the first half this week, so okay. And then any open mic questions or discussion topics?
Question on the proc file build pack. So I submitted a PR that got approved and released, and I noticed that the builders use the new version of the proc file, but the meta build packs for like Java or Python or whatever, they're still using an older version. So I don't know if because the builder has a newer version, does that override the build packs version of the build pack?
No, I don't think that it would. I think that would use whatever version is inside of the meta build pack. So you would have to make sure that that got updated in like the Java language family and got a release of that.
Okay.
And generally probably any other language family that you would want to see this in as well.
Okay, cool. So then at some point I'll look for I'll just like post something in Slack if it doesn't happen automatically. I don't know. Do you guys release the meta build packs automatically, or is that like a manual release when you guys are ready?
For the I can only speak for my particular build packs. That the meta build packs are not a manual release. Or no, they are a manual release. Excuse me. Jeez. Worked myself in a corner there. Yeah, someone would have to release them. That might not be the case for like Java, but for other build packs, that is the case.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. So I can ping people in Slack, and it's not urgent. It's just wondering how it all works. So thank you.
Awesome. Anything else? Okay. In that case, I think that will be the end of this working group meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care. See you next time.
Yeah.
See you.